For the last few months, my primary digital companion has been this. The M5 iPad Pro, a slab of aluminum and glass that demands a $1,200 premium, sold to us by Apple as a device that would finally, definitively erase the line between a tablet and a full-fledged computer. Now, if you're tuned in, you've likely consumed the typical wave of launch videos. The slow-motion close-ups, the dizzying benchmark numbers, and enthusiastic proclamations that this gadget is nothing short of a miracle, a glimpse into the future of how we compute. But I'm not here to join that chorus. I'm here to give you the unvarnished, real-world truth, because frankly, the experience of living with the M5 iPad Pro has been fundamentally different from what I suspect many of you expected, and not always for the better. Subscribe for more informative videos, as I work hard to gather useful information for you. In return, you just hit the bell icon button and stick around, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to pull back the curtain on this device, exploring the quiet frustrations that only surface after weeks of daily grind, and why, for a significant number of users, choosing the M5 could actually represent a massive and costly step backward. Let's begin with the single aspect everyone seems to agree on, the display. Yes, it is by any measure absolutely breathtaking. The liquid Retina XDR technology paired with promotion 120Hz refresh rate means the blacks are so inky they feel like voids, and colors leap off the screen with a vibrancy that is simply unmatched. If your work involves high dynamic range content creation, or you primarily use this device to consume cinematic media, then you are looking at what is arguably the finest portable display on the planet. Full stop. But here's the crucial question I need you to wrestle with. Are you actually utilizing the screen to its full, prodigious potential? Are you a professional HDR video colorist? Or are you mostly scrolling through social media feeds and streaming your favorite shows? Because if it's the latter, this display quickly transforms into a piece of luxurious over-engineering and expends hundreds of dollars on a feature set that is dramatically overkill just to look at a basic spreadsheet or check your email. Then we come to the M5 chip, the celebrated engine of raw, unbridled power, and this is where the narrative built around this device begins to completely fracture. On paper, this processor is an absolute titan, boasting more sheer processing capability than most contemporary ultralight laptops. I pushed it with every heavy-duty application I could find, LumaFusion for complex video edits, Procreate handling well over 100 layers, even some introductory Blender rendering, and it swallowed it all, maintaining a fluid, hyper-fast performance throughout. But here is the secret, the truth Apple desperately hopes you overlook. You are fundamentally prevented from accessing all that tremendous power. Imagine investing in a high-performance sports car, only to be legally restricted to driving it on a 40-kilometer-per-hour neighborhood street. The astounding engineering is present. The potential is palpable, but the operating system, iPad, has perpetual, unseen foot firmly pressed on the brake pedal. You still cannot run the full, unrestricted desktop versions of industry-standard professional software. You are still navigating the limitations of app sandboxing. You are still hunting for that one vital, frustratingly missing keyboard shortcut that exists effortlessly on macOS. The power here is essentially a demonstration, a spectacular figure they can trot out on a keynote slide, but it is not a capability you can fully, practically leverage in professional workflow. This right here is the central, bitter disappointment of the M5 iPad Pro. It is a high-end computer, trapped within the restrictive shell of a tablet, ceaselessly beating against the glass, desperate for liberation. Moving on, we have the essential accessories that define the Pro experience, starting with the notorious Magic Keyboard. This thing costs $350, which is a staggering price for a keyboard and a trackpad. Objectively, the typing experience is excellent, and the floating cantilever design is undeniably elegant. But the moment you clip it on, the whole ensemble immediately weighs more than a MacBook Air, and the lapability, the ability to comfortably use on your lap, remains frankly abysmal. It wobbles. It threatens to tip over. And worst of all, when you close it up, it leaves a $129 Apple Pencil completely exposed, magnetically clinging to the side, just waiting to be casually knocked off and lost forever in the cushions of a couch or the back of a taxi. Apple solved 90% of the mechanical issues with this accessory, and then inexplicably left 10% of the most irritating, daily use flaws totally unaddressed, and you pay a massive premium for that elegant yet frustrating mediocrity. And then there's the Apple Pencil itself. It is genuinely a masterful tool. The low-latency response makes drawing and taking detailed notes feel incredibly natural, but once again, you have to look past the slick marketing demos. In actual real-world use, you are continuously dealing with palm rejection that is just slightly off, resulting in stray, unwanted marks. You are constantly double-checking if the tap-to-switch feature actually registered. It is a brilliant piece of engineering that is relentlessly undermined by a collection of minor, persistent software irritations. It's a productive death by 1,000 small paper cuts. Now, let's pivot to battery life, which is always a heated subject. Apple publicly claims 10 hours. My real-world finding under genuinely heavy usage, and by that, I mean editing 4K video, constantly jumping between 24 Safari tabs, and heavy use of split view, is that you are absolutely not getting 10 hours. You are more realistically looking at 6 to maybe 7 hours, and often even less if you are really maxing out the M5 on graphically intensive tasks. And because the Magic Keyboard demands power from the tablet, you find yourself tethered to a wall socket far more frequently than you should on a device marketed for its freedom. This is a device that unleashes you. It's a beautiful, elegant ball and chain. But the single most crucial point of this entire review, the one thing I hope stays with you, is the fundamental value proposition. Who is the M5 iPad Pro actually for? If you are a dedicated digital artist whose life is lived entirely within applications like Procreate, if your workflow consists purely of sketching, painting, and visual art, then yes, this is the ultimate, uncompromising tool. Buy it. It will transform your process. If you are a student whose main requirements are note-taking, reading PDFs, and simple document creation, this is catastrophic overkill. You would be exponentially better off spending half the money on a standard iPad Air and using the remaining cash for a truly fantastic third-party keyboard case. If, however, you are a professional who needs complex file management, the ability to run multiple full-powered desktop applications, and reliance on proprietary software, the M5 iPad Pro is a beautifully designed deception. You still unequivocally need a MacBook Pro. Do not allow the impressive benchmarks to trick you into believing this can be a true replacement for your dedicated work machine. It is a magnificent companion device, but it is not a primary replacement. I forced myself to spend weeks trying to make the M5 iPad Pro my one and only computer. I made myself keep the laptop closed. I desperately wanted to believe the narrative that this was all I needed for that sleek, minimalist future. And every single time, I slammed into the same frustrating wall. The file management was a confusing maze. The multitasking, while improved, felt clunky and restrictive compared to a desktop OS. The little, essential things, like exporting a specific file format to a precise folder structure, became multi-step, friction-filled processes that take literally 2 seconds on a Mac. So, here is my truly honest, definitive summary. The M5 iPad Pro is a technological wonder. It is a stunning example of hardware engineering, but it is fundamentally neutered by the very company that brought it into existence. It is a supercomputer that can only run glorified mobile applications. It is a professional machine that is expertly designed to look capable, but not necessarily to work as relentlessly hard as its specs imply. It is an object of profound desire. It looks incredible on your desk. It makes a powerful statement. But the honest, painful truth is that Apple has priced this device as a computer. They have marketed it as a computer. But what they have ultimately delivered is something that remains, at its core, a tablet. An absolutely sensational, incredible tablet, but a tablet nonetheless. My final takeaway is neither a simple recommendation nor a condemnation. It is a strong caution. Before you part with $1,200 or more on this device and its mandatory accessories, stop, close your eyes, and visualize your actual daily workflow. Are you truly editing high-end cinema, or are you just browsing the web? If you are purchasing this for its raw power, you are investing in a capability that you simply cannot fully utilize. If you are buying it solely for portability, you are simultaneously sacrificing essential daily use functionality. In the end, the M5 iPad Pro is an astounding piece of kit that I adored using casually and yet frequently loathe working on professionally. It is the highest expression of a promise that remains unfulfilled. It is a beautiful, powerful disappointment. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.